If you're looking for the experience of a delicious cocktail, but without the effects of alcohol, try Kensho Cocktails by Reserve. These ready-to-drink beverages are made with premium botanicals and natural citruses and spices, giving them the flavor and finish of high-end mixology. Garnish with limes, cherries, or raspberries to complete a bold and sophisticated cocktail, all without the accompanying hangover. Go to rsrvcollective.com and use promo code Cinemavino, and you'll receive 30% off everything on that purchase. It's the biggest discount you can get, and it's exclusive to our promo code. Once again, that's rsrvcollective.com, promo code Cinemavino. Welcome back to Cinemavino. Thank you guys for joining us. Yeah, it's good to have you guys here.
Hey guys,
where did we go?
Glad you could join us.
New ep, new trilogy.
Who dis?
Starting Indiana Jones with Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Up in this beer.
Call us the Try Guys the way we're doing trilogies.
We got T-Bud.
Yo.
We got Sean Jordan.
People call you up.
It's your boy.
It's your boy.
And I'm T-Waff. And it's good to have you guys with us.
Oh, Waff Daddy.
I like that too. I like all the above. And so we are drinking Domitia. This is a white wine. This is a Pic Pool from Languedoc in France.
Barcelona.
The Languedoc region of France.
Where is the Languedoc region?
I believe it's going to be kind of south.
What Languedoc do they speak?
What's their gross national product?
So this is going to be kind of a refreshing, easy drinking white wine.
What's their tariff rate?
Who knows now?
It's 0 today.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we can check back tomorrow.
Yeah. So yeah, refreshing, easy drinking wine. So this is in honor of the Raiders of the Lost Ark villain, Belloc, who is a Frenchman and who, later in the movie gets drunk with, Marion in his tent at the Well of Souls. And I spent this movie, watching it now, trying to figure out what they drink in that scene.
It seemed like a liquor.
It was. And I believe what it was the French version. I have to look up the name of it, but the French version of grappa. The closest thing I could think of taste wise would be jet fuel. It's not quite Everclear, but it is like pure alcohol, made from grapes. It's like the Everclear or whatever version of brandy. Or the moonshine version of
pure grain alcohol.
It's clear. It is hot tasting. That's why he coughs when he drinks it. I mean, that's it'll get you messed up. So that's the closest thing I could guess it. It's some sort of grappa is what they're drinking. So, and they're just getting messed up on it. So we're not drinking that obviously because, we're mortal humans and
because we have work tomorrow.
Yeah. We'd be laying on the ground.
Yeah.
Otherwise. So we're going to do some French wine in honor of the villain Belloc. So this is a nice, easy, again, hot weather. They're in the desert, especially for the second half of the movie. So this is an easy drinking, refreshing white wine.
This is lovely.
Yeah.
I think it's spent the perfect amount of time in my freezer.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not too cold. This is around $20 at your local wine store.
I'd pair this with a nice, Swiss cake roll.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Do a little Debbie.
Get you an oatmeal cream pie. Delicious.
I'll give you a cream pie.
Ooh, boy.
Hey-o.
Do a little honey bun.
Well, honey, your buns.
Are you frosted honey bun or are you regular?
Regular.
I'm frosted, man.
I know you are.
Al dente for me.
Medium rare.
Yeah. Exactly.
13% alcohol.
Yeah.
Is that my job here? Is just to tell everybody how crunk we're getting?
Yeah.
Yes. And to read the notes.
Yeah.
It's just, I can't taste with my palate, which is dog shit, but I know how lit I'm going to get off of
You're Sigourney Weaver in Galaxy Quest. Your job is to read the computer.
Yeah. I've got one job on this ship. It's stupid. I'm going to do it.
So Raiders of the Lost Ark was released June 12th, 1981. This grossed $390 million.
On a $20 million budget.
There you go.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Good.
As with all 3 Star Wars movies, this was the highest grossing movie that came out that year. So
wait, say it again. Numbers.
This is $390 million, so just under $400 million against $20 million.
$20 million budget.
Mm-hmm.
$20 million budget.
$20 million budget.
Boba Fett.
So, as with Star Wars, this kicked off an entire franchise. You got 4 sequels, you got video games, you got TV series in the 90s, you got tie-in novels, comic books, and you got an amusement park ride.
And a gender-bent video game sequel.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Oh yeah, tons of ripoffs, tons of spoofs. I mean, tell me, Romancing the Stone was not based. At least that has some Indiana Jones to it.
Yep.
What's the other video game? The Uncharted.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's a ripoff.
I mean, Goonies obviously had to have been at least somewhat inspired by Indiana Jones, especially because Steve Spielberg produced Goonies.
Well, and
Can he rip himself off?
what's the guy's name? He was in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
K.H. Khan. K.H. Khan.
Because he was in Temple of Doom and Goonies.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, I mean, because technically John Fogerty, Creedence Clearwater, was sued. Have you heard this story?
No.
John Fogerty and Creedence Clearwater, after the breakup of the band, they had an ugly breakup, and he went on a solo career. And so he was sued in the 80s by his brother, who was also in Creedence Clearwater, because John Fogerty wrote a song called The Old Man Down the Road that sounded too much like Run Through the Jungle, which is a Creedence Clearwater song that was also written by John Fogerty. He was sued for plagiarizing himself. He was literally had to go to court because he sounded too much like John Fogerty.
Did he win?
He won. He had to take his guitar on the stand. There's pictures of this, and play the two songs next to each other to prove that they weren't the same. But I mean, it would be like bringing Paul McCartney up on the stand because he sounds too much like that guy from the Beatles.
He does sound too much like the guy.
It is uncanny.
So what was his other band? Wings.
And so long story short, yes, he could be sued for ripping himself.
I do have Wings on vinyl.
I love Wings. I love Red Bull. So
His drums are a flats guy.
I mean, either way.
Like high flats.
Yeah. So the story goes that George Lucas and Steve Spielberg were vacationing in Hawaii together, and Spielberg was coming off of the very
A lot of denim on the beach.
a lot of sideburns. Spielberg was just coming off the very disappointing movie 1941, which had a massive like $40-50 million budget and bombed at the box office. And so he was telling George Lucas that he needed to just step back and maybe just do a Bond movie, something easy, a guaranteed hit that he could kind of get back on the winning track with. And supposedly George Lucas said that he had a story idea that was better than 007. And so basically it's one of the most famous log lines in movie history, like how you write a catchy log line. 1930s, a globe-trotting archaeologist races to keep the Ark of the Covenant out of the hands of the Nazis. So Lucas developed the story from that with a young screenwriter named Philip Kaufman before passing it off to The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi screenwriter Lawrence Kasdan to build an entire screenplay. Harrison Ford was not the first choice to play Indy.
Tom Selleck?
Tom Selleck was the first choice to play Indy.
Batman?
Yeah. I guess he was also the model for Iron Man at one point, apparently.
Yeah. Tony Stark, 100%.
Mm-hmm. So
What can't Tom Selleck do?
Oh, yeah.
Well, quit the NRA.
So he couldn't work out filming with his new hit show Magnum P.I., and so Frank Marshall and producer Howard Kazanjian, who also produced Return of the Jedi, persuaded George Lucas, who did not want to cast Harrison Ford out of fear that Harrison Ford become known as his guy for all of his movies.
Big typo. Yeah.
Yeah. But they eventually talked him into it, and history was made. So as with the other movies, I'm going to ask, I'm assuming you guys have both seen this movie, obviously.
Yes.
When did you first see it? And was it the first indie movie that you saw?
I don't know. I think I had seen this, but I think I had seen Temple of Doom a lot more. Just because I liked the monkey brains, all the gross out humor in Temple of Doom.
You have to say monkey brains the right way.
Monkey brains.
Chilled monkey brains.
All of the gross food and like the eyeball soup and the bugs everywhere and the dude getting his heart ripped out.
Yes.
Now that yeah, that was all. That was my favorite shit. As a kid, Temple of Doom was my jam.
Agreed. Same. Yeah.
This one.
Plus, you had like a kid protagonist sort of tagged along and was a little insert into the movie.
Yeah.
Well, short round.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever really did see Last Crusade until I was much older. What year did that one come out?
89.
Yeah, it was even later than that I finally saw that. So I saw Temple of Doom the most, then Raiders. But I will say, I rewatched it again. I had seen it before, but I was by myself in my dorm room, nothing to do. And I think we were pre-boozing before going out or something. And I got a little drunk, had a 3-beer shower, and was getting ready watching Raiders of the Lost Ark. It was the best movie I'd ever seen.
Were you watching the movie in the shower?
No, I had a 3-beer shower, got out, was, getting ready or doing whatever, and watching Raiders of the Lost Ark. And at that moment,
what were you doing in the shower that took 3 beers?
What? No, I
You don't ask that. You don't want to know.
It was an everything shower.
No.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Had a lot more hair back then.
But no, it's the thing where you take 3 beers in the shower and you can't get out until you've finished all 3 beers.
Oh,
And you just rail them as quickly as you can.
We didn't do that.
Oh,
no.
3-beer showers. That's a hell of a Friday
Took
night.
3-beer baths. It was a lot sadder.
But so I got out and I was getting tipsy watching Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I was like, guys, this is the way to do it. This is the greatest movie I've ever seen in my life. I felt like, Jon Stewart in Half Baked was like, you ever seen Son of a Woman on weed? Like, you guys ever watched Raiders of the Lost Ark on beers?
Oh.
On some Lost Lake? But it was so much better than I remembered it. I don't know. And I'm sure I'd seen it several times, but this is far and away my favorite of the Indiana Jones films. And Temple of Doom has fallen behind a little bit, as you do.
Yeah.
But it was great. Alfred Molina, good old Doc Ock, shows up in the very beginning when he gets killed. That toss me the idol, I'll toss you the whip.
Yeah.
The whole like fear of snakes thing, scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And the dude's face melting off at
I
the end
hate snakes.
Which was awesome.
was awesome.
Amazing.
Also scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I loved it. For some reason, as a kid, I didn't like the love interest. I don't know what it was.
This trilogy is rough for love interests. They can't, especially Temple of Doom. That's a weak spot of that movie is Kate Capshaw.
It's very much like tertiary to everything else going on.
Yeah.
Not even secondary, tertiary.
And that's technically a prequel. 'Cause it happens, 5 years before Raiders?
I think it's like a year or two before Raiders.
It's like 1939 and Raiders is...
I think
Raiders 36.
Raiders is 36, Temple of Doom is 35, and Last Crusade's 39.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah. And for the record out there, it's like, we know there's 2 more indie movies after this trilogy, but we're disregarding
we do not
those.
fucking count them.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Exactly.
This is a trilogy.
Exactly.
There
Also,
are 3 movies.
So classic and very Han-esque that he, the dude is trying to fight him in the square with, and I guess Han was sick that day and was like,
Harrison Ford.
Yes, excuse me. Harrison Ford was sick that day. He's like, can I just shoot this guy? I'm feeling under the weather. And it was just, it was an iconic thing. It was like shooting Greedo. Yeah. Or Greedo shooting first or whatever that.
Just like the sword.
It's like supposedly Harrison Ford came up with The Empire Strikes Back of the line to Leia, like,
I know.
When she's like, I love you. I know.
Said rogue.
Because it was written for him to say, I love you too. And Harrison Ford's like, no. Han
wouldn't do that.
Yeah. He's going to say, I know.
And that's what I love about actors that know their characters better than the script.
Yeah.
Is that they've worn their clothes, walked in their shoes, literally, and have thought about it. Yeah. They're like, that's against my character. That wouldn't cut it.
Supposedly, like Harrison Ford had food poisoning during that scene with the guy. And it's like they had a long, elaborate fight scene. Like, let's just kill him.
Harrison Ford has been method acting a grumpy old man for 50 years.
I mean, including Blade Runner, the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
He finally looks on the outside how he's always felt on the inside.
Yeah. Air Force One.
Get off my plane. Get off my lawn.
Yeah.
Yes. He's Gran Torino on a plane.
Yeah. That's a movie title.
So this also gets a 10 for me. This is the best one of the indie flicks.
It's an easy 10.
I love it. Yeah.
This is another milestone movie that inspired a million imitations. It's kind of like how people argue, like, how can you rate Nirvana, whatever? It's like, you can rate Nirvana as a 10 because of all the bands that have tried to beat Nirvana. I mean, listen to all the imitations that they spawned.
Chippendales Rescue
Foo Fighters? Ugh.
Exactly. How dare they? But it's like, that's how you can tell something's great, is when it spawns a million imitators. And Star Wars is the same way.
Yeah.
At Chippendales Rescue Rangers, you had Tom Selleck, who was supposed to be Indy, and then Dale, who was dressed in the Hawaiian shirt. Tom Selleck.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So you're 10.
10.
I didn't latch onto this much as a kid. I definitely saw it as a kid. I think I saw probably Last Crusade first.
Same.
Because as a kid, I was big into Sean Connery because he's my namesake.
Yes.
And so I watched a lot of James Bond movies. I mean, that was my main thing is I would go to the, Blockbuster or Southwestern Video as it was for my regional. I'd go to Southwestern Video and just get, whatever James Bond movie, I'd binge it, return it, binge it, return it. So I went through all the Sean Connery Bonds, and then I think I just started exploring the Sean Connery, universe.
Oeuvre,
if you will. And I think that was probably my intro to the overall Indiana Jones trilogy, but it wasn't a big circulation, trilogy for me. It wasn't one that I would watch and repeat.
No.
So I didn't have the emotional attachment to it. I think I probably watched this maybe 2 or 3 times as a kid and then just sort of moved on.
Yeah.
Watched it later in college, went back and rewatched it with fresh eyes. This is definitely, it's good. It's got a lot of camp to it. There's a lot, and going back and watching The Fabelmans, 5 years ago now? 3, 4 years ago?
Is it? Jesus.
Just going back and seeing the biopic of Steven Spielberg and seeing his love of cowboy movies and seeing his love of all the old Hollywood stuff. You see a lot of that come out in this movie. You see a lot of those tropes.
And George Lucas too. You got both of them.
Yeah, for sure. But there's so much camp. It's a lot of camp. There's cartoonish shit. She takes a frying pan and whacks a guy in the face. That's Looney Tunes shit.
You got a monkey that does the Heil Hitler salute.
Yes, you have a monkey Sieg hailing. You don't see that these days, not because of cancel culture.
I saw it the other day. The billionaire doing it. Still a monkey.
I don't know.
Still relevant.
It's very campy, and I don't have the nostalgia hook to really, really love it. I would give this a 7. Just very objectively. And I don't know if it's just a mindset or where I was when I was watching it, but
different place.
And I think if I looked back as a kid, I thought this was a great movie. The whole trilogy is great, but I can't reconcile it being a 10 for sure.
Yeah.
In this day and age.
Yeah.
I think it's too campy, and I think there's too much just cartoonish stuff that I couldn't get behind, but I can see why it's great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's very pulpy. It reminds
pulpy.
Me of, The Rocketeer.
Yeah.
Shadow.
Yeah. The Rocketeer
Savage.
for sure.
But it's also, you don't see a whip very often. And that's a little Zorro staple.
Yeah.
You got a little
This
Western,
dude's whip
also a little whip.
Gets used and abandoned so many times. He abandoned that whip 3 times in this movie. Also, can I say,
versatile as Baines, though.
These dudes love the Wilhelm scream.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, yeah.
It's thrown into every movie.
It's not even Spielberg and Lucas. It's the same guy did the sound design for these. Ben Burt did the 3 indie movies. He did the 3 Star Wars movies. And literally at one point when he was doing New Hope, and there's a stormtrooper that falls off a ledge after he gets shot by Luke.
What?
He needed a stock scream. And so he remembered this movie from the 50s where this rancher or whatever, I can't remember if he gets bitten by a gator or stabbed or whatever, but it's the most over the top scream. And so he used that from their stock and mixed it in. And so then after that, it kind of became an in joke amongst sound design guys of, because then it shows up in Empire whenever the stormtrooper falls off.
I think it shows up in Empire twice.
Yeah, at least I know there's once for sure whenever Chewbacca knocks one of the stormtroopers into the carbonite chamber or whatever.
Right.
And then it's in Jedi whenever they're at the Jabba's sail palace. And I think
it's one of the stormtroopers, or not stormtroopers, one of the goons gets knocked into
thugs gets knocked into the
Sarlacc pit.
Yeah. And then in this movie,
it was when one of the guys gets thrown onto a Jeep
and lands on the windshield.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's in Temple of Doom at least once. It's in
all of these fucking movies.
And it might be in Dark Knight too.
Oh, it's in it. It's in everything.
It's just definitely in all 3 Lord of the Rings movies, the Wilhelm screams and all three.
Yeah.
It's in Toy Story. It's in the movie Toy Story. I mean, it shows up in all kinds of places. When Buzz Lightyear gets knocked out of the windowsill in the room, he does the Wilhelm scream. So it's in a lot of movies. I mean, there's probably hundreds of movies now because of Star Wars. You know, it's because of Ben Burt and using that sound effect, like that just big over the top scream.
So Star Wars was the first time it really got brought back in?
Popular, yeah. Yeah. So I think it got reused in a bunch of B movies in the 50s, like where some guy gets like eaten by a giant like spider or ant or whatever. You know, he does this, they mix in that. And so I'm sure Ben Burt had seen these movies like, I want that scream. And so he brought it over from those.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great movie. It's visually, it's great. Acting, great. Story, great. They pack a lot into what is a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
Which in that day and age was probably like, that's an epic.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's like, that's a relatively short movie.
An hors d'oeuvre.
Yeah. I do love, so you were talking about it being cartoony, but it's kind of designed to be. It is. I love the map where it's showing where the plane's going or like where you, like, I wish they would do that in Lord of the Rings, where they would lift up and show you
see the different
map.
A sense of like space.
Yeah. Because that's the best thing about reading a new book, and it's got like a new world. It's like,
when there's a map in a book
and looking in the little map, like, yes, you can just pour over that thing for ages. But
I remember
so it's very cartoony. The other thing is, I love the punch sound. Like every punch, you're like, man, that was a great punch sound. Like it is very cartoony, but I was like, man, if I ever punch somebody and it doesn't sound like that, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Yeah, you're real disappointed. It just kind of sounds like you're slapping and
that's where like the Arrested Development narrator, like, it does not sound like that.
Yeah, it sounds exactly like me slapping a hot dog on my chin.
Ron Howard is the narrator.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You were going to say something about the map?
So I mean, that just reminds me, like when I read a book, one of my favorite books about the Civil War, it has a map of like the things that go on. And it's a trilogy of 3 books by an author named Shelby Foote. And in each story, there's a map at the beginning of the book and at the end of the book. And so I would go back and forth to that map throughout the book to like figure out where I am. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, it's like this movie would very much benefit from that, or like Lord of the Rings would benefit from that, where you get like that sense of time and space. But
I'll bump it to an 8, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it. It's a great movie. It's visually, and like I said, production-wise is great. It's just, that camp kind of takes me out of it to where, the story is just, like they're just digging a hole over like maybe 100 yards away. And they're just like, all right, we're good. Just like be chill about it. Mm-hmm. And then fine, of course, the main evil guy is just like, oh, hey, they're digging over there. Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Camp in the pulp is my bread and butter. A Nazi gets punched into a propeller.
Yeah. As you do.
A dude who looks like he uses the word fisticuff on a daily basis. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like has like the twirly mustache and like,
I love like the old timey, like the bare knuckle Jack Johnson, like pose for the fighter. Yeah, I love that.
I love like a protagonist getting the absolute shit wrecked out of him. Mm-hmm. Love it.
He looks exhausted this entire movie.
Yeah. He gets to John McClane, like where he's eventually like beat up and shot, bloody. And
he's like they got me here and here and they got me right here on the lip.
He just falls asleep.
Also, now my pants are falling off.
No, he falls asleep.
I know.
Yeah. Just falls asleep.
Falls asleep with his pants around his ankles.
And one thing we haven't talked about.
Toes curling.
We've talked about in previous podcasts how for the music, John Williams, it's like...
he sucks.
Yeah. So Indiana Jones is one of the few John Williams characters who has 2 distinct themes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he has 2 scores for him.
Now make him kiss.
So because John Williams went to Spielberg and debuted 2 different themes, thinking that Spielberg would pick one or the other. And Spielberg's like, no, I like both of them.
Because they have different tones, right? Yeah. You got the bam, ba, bam, bam,
but then
Superman's got 2 different kind of themes.
Yeah.
It's got his slow run in the march.
But and usually though, when he does 2 different themes, they fit 2 different tones of the movie where it's like
different motifs.
For example, like in Star Wars, Princess Leia has a theme, Han and Leia have a theme, and then Luke and Leia have a theme. And so so you have that sort of like, and supposedly again, John Williams said that like when he first wrote I want to say it was Empire. He wrote, not knowing the full story, a potential love theme for Luke and Leia. And George Lucas shot that down. I was like, no, we're not doing that.
I think maybe tone that down.
So that got deleted.
A lot of banjo in that theme.
Yeah.
Wait till the 20-teens, and then, but you kids are going to love it.
Yeah.
Your Pornhub search is going to love it.
And so he figured,
Stepsister.
and then he said he was watching the early cut of Return of the Jedi. He's like, oh, I get it now. That they don't get a love theme.
No, there is another.
So yeah, Indy actually gets two distinct like hero themes, which is unique amongst the Spielberg and Lucas characters. So that's how cool he is he gets two different heroic.
And John Williams is very close to Superman.
Composer.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Part of the Indy theme is very close to Superman.
It is.
Yeah,
a little bit.
And I mean, it fits that same like big. It's a march. I mean, it's like,
It's also close to Jurassic Park.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, and they all kind of fit that. It's like how Home Alone is very close to Harry Potter, which is also close to Hook. Like if you listen to Hook and Harry Potter and Home Alone, they're all kind of related to each other. And so he kind of has that same idea of like, Indy and Star Wars are very close to each other. They have that kind of same feel. But then Superman also has that kind of similar.
Superman.
Indy, I mean, because Indy's a superhero, basically, for all intents and purposes. It's like, I've always thought of him that way of like, Indy can't be killed. It's like, he's a human with no superpowers, but.
Yeah, put him in a fridge next to an atomic blast. He's just going to.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Launch
him and the prairie dog.
a mile away, and he's going to be fine.
Eye roll.
Prairie dog in it?
Yeah.
Because again, it's a fucking cartoon.
Yeah. And so, but like you said, I mean, that I watched this movie the first time when I was probably, 8 years old or whatever. So the
physics don't matter.
No, I loved this movie as a kid.
Yeah.
The boulder, like him running away from the boulder and the fist fight out by the airplane, stuff blowing up all around him. I was just, this is awesome.
Yeah. The other spiritual successor, fucking National Treasure is the last movie that I know that was like super popular that was kind of in the same vein.
Yeah.
It was all like Dungeon Delve. Even the fucking Mummy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. The Mummy owes a lot to this. There's so many movies that owe something to Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
The great anything where they're wearing khaki, which is like most of The Rock's career.
Stargate, I mean, also something like Stargate,
even Dungeons and Dragons games where they're dungeon delving or they're going like down to
and looking for an artifact,
caverns, and
Also, his whole thing about like it belongs in a museum. Can I just say the Ark of the Covenant does not belong in a museum? It will melt people's faces off.
Yeah.
Do not put that in a museum. That needs to be in some government bunker somewhere.
Which, I mean, they
were right to put it there.
Getting wheeled into Roswell or whatever. Like,
yes, it does not belong in a museum.
I love that ending too. Of like,
that's right.
That's such a cool ending of them, boarding up the Ark of the Covenant and then wheeling it into a giant warehouse. That's such a cool closing shot.
I would watch all those movies.
Well, and the parallels of them doing exactly what the Nazis did of like pasting over a box, like putting their label on it.
Yeah.
And wheeling it in.
Yeah. It's like the old, the Who lyrics, meet the new boss.
Really makes you think. Really makes you think,
Meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Same as the old boss.
So
same as it ever was.
Yeah. This is an easy 10 for me. I love this movie. It's one of my favorites. So, and I can't wait. I'm going to wait longer for my kids to watch this in Star Wars. I mean,
what? I feel like this one's more kid friendly than Star Wars.
It is until the faces start.
Yeah. There are some violent bits.
Yeah.
They got to be 8.
The blood splatter of the propeller.
He won't even do well with the dead monkey. I'm going to have to explain the dead monkey a lot that eats the poison date. There's a lot of
bad dates.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be a traitor.
That monkey was a Nazi.
He was a fascist. Yeah. So, and definitely Temple of Doom is going to wait a while with Mark coming out and catching fire.
Okay, but I loved that as a kid.
I did. I loved that as probably a 9 or 10-year-old.
Look, give it to him at 8.
Make it 7.
Actually, 7.
You get Joanna to sign off on that, and I'm down.
Okay, now listen. You give it to Noah at 9. Give it to your twins at 7.
Yeah.
Because twins,
they'll feel cool.
They age faster.
They do.
Because they have an older brother, kind of shows them some of the quiet stuff, that you don't really like talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found this in Mom and Dad's video camera. We should watch it.
I mean, I saw Blazing Saddles by raiding the movie cabinet, which I wasn't supposed to see. So there you go.
What else did you see that you weren't supposed to?
Red Shoe Diaries.
Ooh.
You know, Todd, as like a 7-year-old, was rating it just like, oh, Civil War documentary. I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah.
Pink Lagoon.
I can check this against my map in the book.
Leaving.
But yeah, it's been another episode of Cinemavino.
Cinemavino.
We got Domatia, Languedoc, Pickpool, Delicious.
You're just saying words. What do those words mean?
This is a Pickpool. It is a well-balanced, refreshing, lightly acidic white wine.
Londoc, Quezon, Hill 364.
That is a really delicious white wine. That'd be a great summer drink.
Yeah, it would be.
Oh, it is Languedoc?
Languedoc.
Pickpool. Picpoul.
Pickpool is the grape,
Pinet.
right?
DE space PINET.
Mm-hmm.
Appellation Diogène Protégé.
Appellation protege.
Yeah. Monkey. So, great movies, only drunker. We thank you guys next time. Join us next time for Temple of Doom. We'll get crazy with a cheese whiz.
And some monkey brains. Monkey brain wine.
Hey, can we do cheese whiz?
Love cheese whiz. See you guys next time.
Bye.